Alright, so let's go ahead and make the next part, which is going to be the connecting rod between the piston within the chamber, which the chamber is this part here. And you can probably maybe see, if not, you can go to ThinkGeek's website yourself. There's a foam piston, which actually you can see in this picture off to the left. And that piston is going to get driven by this central shaft right here. So we're going to go ahead and make that part. It's quite a few different extrusions, a couple different geometries, but it's fairly straightforward. So let's go ahead and see that in Inventor. Here's what I made a minute ago. There is a cylinder extrusion followed by another cylinder extrusion, different diameter, and then we'll do a loft to get this this feature where it's a smooth transition from the cylinder into this brick, this kind of block extrusion up here. And then we'll follow that up with sketching a circle with a center point circle on that, a concentric circle, and extrude that out. So quite a few extrusions and a loft. So let's go ahead and get into it. So let's do a new part. We're going to do a circle to start off with. Oh, this is an inch part. I shouldn't have done that little quick command. So we'll go down here, standard millimeter, circle, center point, drag it out. This is going to get dimension to 0.9 millimeters. So we can zoom on in on that. We're going to finish that sketch, and then we'll extrude it out to be 8 millimeters. With that finished, we'll go ahead and create a 2D sketch on the end of the cylinder, creating a circle concentric with that circle, and we'll dimension that to 1.85 millimeters. Oops. With that dimension, we'll now extrude this out 20 millimeters. Alright, so those two steps are pretty easy, and actually I need to edit this because there's also the little center portion that you have to grab. So let me roll this back actually and go back to the sketch and then extrude from there. Yeah, so you want to select this and that inner portion. Okay, there we go. We got what we want. With that done, the next part is to do an offset plane, because the way loft works is you start with your geometry that you have set, and you'll sketch another geometry some distance away, and it'll interpolate between the two, filling in the gaps. You'll see as we move along if you haven't worked with a loft before. So let's go ahead and make an offset from plane. We'll offset it from the top surface, a distance of 2.5 millimeters. So you see how we have this plane kind of sitting off in a distance right there from the end, which is what we want. So we'll go normal to that. We'll go ahead and do a 2D sketch on that surface. And now we're going to make a rectangle because that's the what we want in the end. And this is going to have dimensions of 1 millimeter by 1.85 millimeters. Now you see it's not all centered up right. We can fool ourselves and kind of move it to where we think it's nice and close, but let's not play that guessing game, and let's go ahead and make a line across the center line there, and we'll make another line coming down this way. And now we want to turn these lines into construction lines. With that done, we'll use a symmetric command in our constraints. What you do is you select your two lines, and then you'll select the line you want them to be symmetric about. See how it just snapped down? So we'll do it with this other one as well in the other direction. So we'll select our two lines that we want to be symmetric about this line. And it's all centered up how we want it to be. Let's go ahead and finish that sketch and bring it on down and around. And now we'll do a loft. We'll select the top surface here, and we're going to select this sketch, and we're just going to click OK. That's all it takes to get a loft done. See how it went from a circle into a square gradually? That's basically the purpose of a loft. Alright, so with that, we're going to move on and do an extrusion from that surface. What we can do, since we have a rectangle there and we want it to be the same size as that rectangle, we can go ahead and create a 2D sketch on that surface and just click project geometry of that surface. And see how the line turned yellow? That should mean that it's good to go, it's ready to be used. And that is true because extrude opened, and if there was no sketch, extrude would have never let me open itself. And it went ahead and automatically selected that surface. We don't want 20 millimeters here. We want 6. So 6 millimeters up. Alright. And with these planes, we're done with that plane. So you can right click on the plane and click on the visibility, which will turn that plane on. The plane's still there. And you can go over here in your work tree, your model history, and click on visibility if you ever need it back. But it just cleans things up if you turn it off. Okay, with that done, what we have left is the circle. So we need, to simplify things, we want to sketch it from the midplane and extrude it out from the midplane in both directions. It'll simplify things for dimensioning. So we'll do a plane, a midplane between two parallel planes. So we want to select this front plane as a reference and this back plane as a reference. And it has made this plane in between completely symmetric between those two planes. And with that done, we can now sketch on that surface. It's going to flip you around for some reason or another. So we'll just rotate back around, zoom back to where we want to be, call it a day. Alright, so this circle, see how this dotted line appeared? That tells us that we're in the center line of the part. Drag that out, and we're going to dimension this to a value of 7 millimeters. It looks kind of big, but that's okay. With that done, we're going to put another circle about the center, concentric with that one, dimension to 1.25 millimeters. The last dimension that we have to do is this part actually intersects, this top circle intersects with the top of this rectangle. So we need to give it a dimension that represents that. So we're going to select center point of that and the edge of that, or if it'll let me try one more time here. There we go. Start with the bottom and work our way up. And this dimension should be 3.2. That is slightly a rough estimate. It could be 3.3 on the actual part. It was a little rough to measure. So we might have to make a change with that later when it comes to assembly, but we'll come to that bridge. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. So now we want to do an extrusion of this mid-plane circle. So click on the actual face, and it's got this random dimension. And we want to dimension this out 1.7 millimeters mid-plane. Yes, and then we'll finish that off. So there you go. There is one more part finished for the overall build of the Stirling engine.